cheaper fees and more slots, Malaysia's international schools soaring in popularity with both foreigners and locals. Okay, so let's look at this article. This was published in Malay Mail recently. September 29, Kuala Lumpur. Business is booming for international schools in the country with both foreigners and locals vying for spots. Last time we used to say when talk about international schools, only foreigners can afford, right? Because it's expensive. So what are the reasons that this surge in spots and also surge in demand is even among locals? The first is competitive prices. And for instance, fees for international schools in Malaysia cost 30% less than South Korea, making them attractive to parents. This is something I've experienced before. Last time I rent out a condominium here in Wangsa Maju to a Korean housewife. She has two kids, two young kids, and her husband is working in Korea. She came here to send the children to an international school nearby here actually. So at first I didn't understand why. Then I just asked her because my co-agent is also a Korean, so I just asked why the Koreans come here. Isn't their education system enough, adequate? Then my co-agent, who's a Korean, also told me, actually down here, right, the cost of living, number one, is cheaper, and also the international schools is also cheaper. That's why they are coming here. Then I was like, wow, okay, they really have sacrificed so much just because of their children education. Education is really one of the biggest pool for property demand. Next up in the article, you see even Chinese national international secondary schools in China costing 150,000 a year back in China. In Malaysia is half the price. Some of them is less than half. Okay, 50,000 and 70,000, less than half. So there's no wonder that they are actually coming in droves. Actually, the Chinese nationals has been coming in droves. A lot of these international schools are seeing more uptake of Chinese. So where are these schools located? Penang and Kuala Lumpur, increasingly attractive destination because of the number of international schools they have. And then besides others, South Korea and Japan students, other countries such as Japan and India are also coming. Okay, this was actually mentioned this likely due to lower fees, and then international school driven by students from Japan, Korea and China. So with the growth of these international schools, right, you can also see the article. Besides Klang Valley, other places like Johor Bahru, Penang and Ipoh is also booming. International schools, they are building international schools because the demand is there. Okay, the demand from foreigners and locals. But why the locals are currently actually considering international school? Let's find out. This enrollment, right, is surprisingly is not the foreigners that make up the most of it, but it's locals. You see, the article actually further states that locals 67% of the international school locals make up the enrollment. Okay, this education minister also said that it rose 34%, and out of that 34% from that 2019 to 2024, locals is the one make up the chunk of the enrollment. More and more parents are choosing to send their children to international schools. Why? Because there's articles also state that below. You see, the syllabus are in English, which is more international language, and also the next one, more consistent syllabus. This is what they want, because we know each time we change the government, each time new government take over, they start revamping education, and then when they keep changing too often, the students actually cannot catch up. So the students will be lagging behind and cannot compete internationally. Okay, so the whole system is actually in a mess. So to these parents, right, if they can send to an international school which has English language and also a more consistent syllabus, why not? To them, that's how they see it. Okay, English speaking countries such as UK, US and Australia are also popular choices for Malaysian parents to send their children for further education. Okay, so this is a lot of information to unpack here. Having said that, right, what does this mean to you as a real estate agent? So especially if you're covering Mont Kiara International School is like very famous. The whole world knows about it. That's why a lot of people come. So that's why if you are actually working as a real estate agent, you could find out more about these international schools and also where these parents prefer to send their children. Okay, go to this international school and observe if possible. And if you are the owner, perhaps you want to look at the competition surrounding it, because the owner, right, is not only one place now that can send to the same international school. There are many supplies, because once the demand is there, right, for housing, for the education, the parents that come with the children, they need a place to stay, right? So definitely there's more new condominiums around that place. When you have an international school, a big well-renowned school that a lot of parents want to send their children there, naturally you will see the supply of more properties around there, and the prices also will increase. Of course, I'm talking in general, prices increase, rent increase. Of course, we're talking about new versus old, that is another story. Okay, so if you are looking to buy for maybe next time your children, if you have kids now and you want your kids to go a better school, perhaps you can look at places like other places like just now I mentioned Johor. There's even Ipoh also is doing international schools. Maybe you can actually buy that place and then move that area. Okay, next time your children want to go school also easy. Actually, education, right, is one of the biggest pull factor or push factor for parents to move. Okay, so if you are a real estate agent now, if you are actually following the schools, not just internationals, local schools, I'm sure there are big names, local schools. So if you have the listings nearby there, or if you don't have, you can try to find listings nearby there, because definitely there's demand for it. The school is nearby. School is one of the biggest pull factor for property demand. Price is another story. Okay, the closer proximity to the school, it might command higher price, or the easier accessible to the school, more people send them to their children want to send to that school, the higher the demand for the property around the area, maybe. Okay, but one thing for sure, the demand is there. So if you are looking for business, you can start there. All right, bye bye.